Hey guys, welcome into a special Saturday edition of Fantasy Football Academy 2020. I'm the Dean, and like I said, this is a special episode. I've said before that if you go down to the bottom, subscribe, comment, like, share, all that kind of good stuff, you can request a special mock draft just for you that I'll walk you through. I'll break it down. You can let me know how you want your draft. You can let me know if you want to run it back heavy, if you want it, balanced, if you wanted to go wide receiver heavy, however you want to see it played out, and have my opinion on your draft, on what you should do, how it's going to make your draft better. So we have our first commented section. A couple of the guys that have done it before, Daniel, Greg, those are guys that I actually work with. D-Money, you've seen him on here before, you know him, you love him. I actually work with him. And so this is my first commented request. It comes from Daniel Whitney. We got Daniel on the brain. Brian Whitney, I'm sorry. Brian, how you doing? Appreciate the support and love. And so this episode of Mock Draft is just for you. Anybody else can take away what they want to take away from it. It's going to be a 10-team mock draft from the 6th position, and we're going running back heavy. So let's go ahead and get into it. And just real quick, I do want to comment real quick on the obvious no deal from Dak Prescott. We kind of knew it was coming. We're not really sure how it's going to be affecting Dak's play, but imagine that he's betting on himself this year. And you saw how that worked out for Kirk Cousins. Kurt was the first guy that it actually worked out for. Anybody else who's played that game, that chicken game with the team and the franchise tag, it has not worked out well for. But I'm hoping that it works out for Dak, just for the simple fact that they pay him, but they don't pay. If they don't pay him, then he's off somewhere else, and I don't have to deal with him in our division. So happy about that. So with that said, let's get into the mock draft. Of course, you're using Fantasy Pros, as always do. And at the end of this, it gives you a grade. Well, after my episode with D-Money, I went back and I looked at what it would take to get a B, or actually higher than a C, from the 12th position with the 12-man team. And this is another reason why I don't like stats, how they can be manipulated to make whatever argument you want to make. I did probably about 10 drafts, and it took me 10 drafts to figure out that the only way that you were going to get a higher grade had nothing to do with the players that you picked or the quality of the players that you picked. It had to do with their rankings. As long as you chose the expert's suggestion, you got a higher grade. So at the end of this, we're not going to look at the grade that we get, but we're going to look at the team that we build. And that's kind of the most important thing, because like I said before, stats can be manipulated. You can look at certain stats and ignore others just to make your point. And that's not what we're about here at the Academy. At the Academy, we are all about the truth, the situation, the environment around the player, and how it's going to pertain to fantasy, okay? Because remember, how they do in reality determines how you do in fantasy football. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. We got the 2020 season standard scoring league, snake draft with a basic pick logic. 10 teams from the 6th position. Running back, 2 running backs, quarterback, 2 wide receivers, a flex, which is a running back or wide receiver, defense, and a kicker with 6 bench spots, giving you 15 rounds. Again, we're not going to do the clock because we're trying to break it down and trying to give Daniel a little edge here in his draft, and hopefully he will be moving to the head of the class here at the Academy with this suggestion. And as always, sponsored by Zia of Lafayette. So if you're in the Lafayette area, in Lafayette, Louisiana, come on down and check them out at Zia. You got some good food. We're still on somewhat of a limited menu because of the COVID, but we still have the family bundles at $35. Awesome deal. Go down see Heath and Leonard and Tucker, all the guys down there. So he's asked for running back heavy, and as you see, the experts draft pick right here is Michael Thomas. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, normally the way that this played out is not how it's probably going to play out in real life. 9 times out of 10, if you're in your real draft, what you're going to wind up getting is you're going to wind up getting Christian McCaffrey, either Saquon or Zeke, which is what's happened here. Then your 4th spot, Derrick Henry has been moving up the board, but a lot of people are still big on Dalvin Cook. And if he does not hold out, look for him to go at the 4 spot. At the 5 spot, there's no way I'm taking Devontae Adams that high, okay? So, also, Tyreek Hill has been a favorite. I'm not big on Tyreek Hill just because there are way too many targets in KC. So, let's look down here. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be screaming, let's go, to pick Joe, to pick Joe Mixon in this draft. I'm laying off Joe Mixon. I don't like it, and I don't like Nick Chubb this high, okay? I had done my breakdown of Michael Fabiano's mock draft, and I didn't like where he had Nick Chubb. He had Nick Chubb too low. He had him in the 2nd round. Now, I've kind of softened up on my view on Nick Chubb just because of the timeshare with Kareem Hunt. And I don't see 1st round fantasy value at that spot. Okay, so we're at the 6th spot, 10-man league. Let's go with a dual threat who I believe is going to have a bounce back year. Okay. So we'll go with that. Now, as we see, we lose Josh Jacobs. I was hoping he would come back around. I was kind of down there. I didn't know with the 10-man league. But this is what happens when you pick at the end and you're picking, well, kind of actually in the middle for this. So 4, 5, and 6 in a 10-man league is in the middle. 1, 2, and 3. It's going to be the front end, and then 7, 8, 9, 10 is going to be the back end. So there's 4 spots picking ahead of you that you're going to have to look out for. Now, with that said, the next guy off of this board, I would go, me personally, I would go Austin Eckler. Okay. I liked Austin last year. Aaron Jones is due for a decline. And I know that a lot of people are leery of Eckler because he lost Rivers. But like I've said before in other mock drafts, that talent didn't leave and go to Indianapolis with Rivers. It's still there with the Chargers. Okay. So you can depend on that. Now, the Miles Sanders thing, I like Miles Sanders, and there's a big swelling for him in the fantasy world, but Philly has never really been a one running back type of team. There's always a split, and they're even talking about maybe bringing in a veteran running back. Keep an eye on it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go Eckler on this one. I like the dual threat here. And we see David Montgomery go off. I like Montgomery this year. Let's look at the draft board real quick. So, okay, so we see here we're in the 3rd round, and we've got Alvin Kamara and Austin Eckler. Okay, we missed out on Josh Jacobs, and we passed on Aaron Jones, Miles Sanders, and David Montgomery. Now, David Montgomery, I'm not viewing as a second-round guy, so I wouldn't have been targeting him there anyway. But you see that we lost. We've got 5, 6 wide receivers that have been gone now. So since you want to go running back heavy, and here's something that I didn't think was going to happen, so I wasn't going to mention it until it did, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm loving that it felt like this. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to snag Lamar Jackson. Now, here's the thing I like about Lamar. Lamar is actually one of those combo players, like you get McCaffrey and you get a running back and a receiver. Okay, if you get Lamar, you get a quarterback and a running back. This guy runs a ton. And even if he runs, let's just say, I don't know, half of what he did last year, it's still going to be phenomenal. Okay, he had 1,200 rushing yards last year. Okay, even if he just has 600 rushing yards, I mean, that's still going to be absolutely phenomenal for a quarterback to get 600 rushing yards, plus whatever he's going to be making up in the air. Okay, so let's go with Lamar, and we'll cut that out. Now, here's what I like coming back around to us. Okay, you've got Fournette, you got David Johnson, you got Todd Gurley. Now, the Fournette thing, if you want to go that route, Brian, go for it. I got no qualms with it. For this exercise, what we're going to do, we're going to look at David Johnson, but I also want to breeze down here and take a look at our wide receivers, because we don't want to lose, even though we're going running back heavy, we don't want to lose too many good receivers. So I want to go down here, and here's a cool thing about the mock draft, doing it on Fantasy Pros. I don't know about anybody else. We're going to go ahead and we're going to draft Juju, and we're going to see what comes back around to us. Okay, now there was one player that I was actually targeting here, and he's still here. Tier 4, Calvin Ridley. You missed out on getting Julio. Okay, so you didn't get Julio Jones because you went running back heavy. Okay, that's fine. But what's better than Julio is Calvin Ridley, because you know that Julio is going to catch some double team, but they are spreading the ball out so much in Atlanta. They brought in Hayden Hurst from Baltimore, the tight end. They're going to spread the ball around a little bit, and Matt Ryan loves to throw. And he loves to throw touchdowns to Calvin Ridley. So we're going to go ahead and take him. Now, we lost that on DJ in Houston. That's fine. Let's go up here. So we're going to look at our roster. You got Kamara and Eckler for our running backs, Lamar Jackson for our quarterback, and we got Juju and Calvin Ridley for our wide receivers. That's not a shabby lineup right there, guys. You know that New Orleans is going to throw the ball all over the place. You know that they're going to make a concentrated effort to get Kamara back to where he was. Eckler is going to be pretty much the focal point of the offense, just for the simple fact that they did lose Rivers. They're trying to ease Tyrod Taylor, who is a game manager, who will check it down just like Rivers did. He is a little more mobile, so you have that to worry about. But even when, I'm not saying if, but when Justin Herbert steps in for Tyrod Taylor with the Chargers, he's still going to be relying on Eckler. Juju is doing backflips and cartwheels and all kinds of things because Big Ben is back in town. Big Ben is back throwing the ball, and his favorite receiver is Juju. Calvin Ridley, I just said he does nothing but catch touchdowns, okay? They'll throw to Julio, and he'll get the PPR, he'll get the yardage, but the touchdowns are going to Calvin Ridley, okay? So since we're going running back heavy and we've got our top 2 locked up, we're going to take a shot, and there's really no workhorse running back left. You're not really sure about what Sony Michel is going to do. It's New England. Guys, look, there's nobody in New England that can tell you definitively that Sony Michel, coming off an injury, is going to be the guy. There's never been really the guy for one whole season in New England. Okay, unless your name was Brady, you weren't the guy. Okay, so there's risk in there, and I know that, you know, we're in the 6th round here, but taking Cam Akers is pretty much the best thing that we have right now to a workhorse running back. He's going to see the work. He's going to be in there, and he's going to just basically slide into Todd Gurley's spot, and he's not going to have any kind of competition to have the starting gig. So that said, at this point in time in the draft, you've got if we look at this, we've got our running backs locked up. We've got our wide receivers locked up, and our quarterback. And this is something that if you lock up quarterback early, and if it's Mahomes or it's Lamar, you see down here that this is 6. Actually, normally it's the 5th, 6th round that guys start going. If you're on the back end of this and you're drafting at the tail end of the 5th round, I suggest that you go ahead, reach up, get that quarterback that you want, because he's not going to be there in the 6th. If you want Dak, if you want Deshaun, if you want Kyler or Russell, you're going to have to reach for them. Now, 7th round, I think that Aaron Rodgers is kind of a reach on that. You might have been able to wait another round, and I don't like the Darren Waller pick at tight end, just for the simple fact that Darren Waller, we're not sure what he is going to be. So let's look at the cheat sheets, and let's go down here. We're a little too far. Okay, so we see over here in the wide receivers, you got Stephon Diggs. And I know that might be really tempting for somebody to go after, but I'm telling you right now, lay off of Diggs. Okay, I've said it before. I'll say it again. You can tell me I'm repeating myself. I don't care. I will keep saying it until someone believes me. Stephon Diggs is going from the second most accurate quarterback in NFL history to Josh Allen. Josh Allen is nowhere near as accurate as Kirk Cousins, and they're a run-first offense. Josh Allen loves to run. He loves to scramble, loves to improvise. I don't see that panning out for Stephon Diggs this year. A lot of people are high on him. I'm not. Okay. G.J. Sharp is a nice pickup here. Robert Woods, he's got Cooper Kupp he's got to go with, and it can be up and down. The good thing about being in this spot is, like I've said, you have an opportunity to take a shot at somebody who you want to take a chance on. Okay. This is kind of I'm going to call it a bold move, just for the simple fact that A.J. Green has a very high injury risk in that spot. Now, we see that Jarvis Landry came back to us, so I'm going to go ahead and pick Jarvis. And this is the thing: if you go running back heavy early, you can load up on wide receivers at the back end. Okay. Now let's go up here. And now my boy is still up here. Brian, if you want a good handcuff, go ahead, reach up and grab Alexander Madison. Make sure you take him. We took him in the 10th round. Now let's go down here. And see who we've got left. Now, we've got Juju. If you want to take Deontay Johnson right now, you can. And let's see, we're looking right now, I believe the 11th. Yeah, all right. We're looking in the 10th round. We got Madison in the 9th. So the 10th round, and we got 2, 4. We got 4 and 4. So we got a good 4 and 4 split. 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers. We went running back heavy early, going running back, and basically another bonus running back, if you want to say that, in Lamar Jackson. Because look back on here and you tell me which one of these running backs would you want above Lamar Jackson that we passed on and that went in the 4th round, okay? Because we missed out on Chris Carson, Jonathan Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and look, guys, these rookies that are going that high, they're not going to do you anything for the first 2-3 weeks, okay? Jonathan Taylor still has to beat out Marlon Mack. There's no preseason, so he's not going to be able to do that in preseason. He's going to have to do it in camp. We're not even sure how long that camp is going to be. So the coaching staff's going to go either with a split or they're going to put Taylor in, like, say, 2nd, 3rd down, see what he's got, and it's going to be an experiment, okay? And if he is one of those players that has to have the ball 20 times a game in order to get going, he's not going to beat out Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack is there, he's established, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is just falling into a spot where, yes, he can blow up, but he's got a lot of competition, okay? So I'm not really seeing anybody there that I would have picked over Lamar Jackson, okay? The upside on there is just way too great. So coming on down here, we've still got value at wide receiver, okay? We can go down here. Let's go ahead and take Emmanuel Sanders. And here's the thing is that if Deontay Johnson does not get that rapport with Big Ben, he's just going to be left out in the cold. Emmanuel Sanders has been around, okay? Deontay Johnson's a sophomore receiver. He's coming in on his 2nd year. Emmanuel Sanders is a veteran wide receiver coming in with a veteran quarterback who knows how to throw to other receivers when his main guy, Michael Thomas, is not open. So we'll take him. And if we look up here in the running backs, there's really nobody else that I'm targeting right now. We've got our one insurance policy with Alexander Madison. You've got pretty much a guarantee, as much as fantasy can be guaranteed. You got as much of a guaranteed as you can possibly get in the fact that Dalvin Cook is not going to finish the season through the whole 16 games. Alexander Madison will have fantasy value at some point in time, okay? So let's go down here and see who we've got left. Now, I like Justin Jefferson. Again, guys who were sliding into roles that are vacated by veterans, that he is not going to be the guy. He doesn't have to be the #1 receiver on the Vikings in order to be relevant. He's got Adam Thielen, and Jefferson can slide into the Stephon Diggs role, be the deep threat, stretch the field. You can look for Thielen over the middle and him do his thing. Now, we're going to scroll up here. Okay, now the only guy that I was targeting just got taken. It was A.J. Dillon with the Packers. If A.J. Dillon is available, go ahead and take him. I really don't see anyone else up here that I'm targeting. Now, let's check out our draft board. So 12th round, and before, I've told you, if you want to lay off of a defense, you can. If it so happens to fall that you don't have to worry about locking up any other spots, you're comfortable with your lineup, you can go ahead and lock up that week in, week out starting defense, that week in, week out, don't worry about a streamer kicker right now. And then you can take your shots on the back end with guys who you want to take a shot at that are maybe deep sleepers that if they do blow up, then they're going to be something. Okay. Now, I know, let's see, we don't have a tight end. So let's go up here and see who's available. Noah Fant's down there. I'm not worried about him. Now, top 3 defenses. Let me break this down for you real simple. San Fran does have a phenomenal defense. However, they have to play Arizona and they have to play the Rams, who we're not really sure if they're going to come back to prominence or not. And they have to play Seattle, who is always scoring twice, each team twice. Okay, so it's 6 games right there that you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, these guys could get, the points could go up, and the only quarterback out of those 3 that I would probably guarantee that you could actually get to, you could probably get to Golf for sacks, and you could might be able to get to Kyler Murray for interceptions. You're not going to hit Russell Wilson up for anything. With Pittsburgh, they play in a really tough run-first division. I like that they have Joe Burrow there. I like that they have Mayfield, but they have to go up against Lamar too. Now, if you flip that around, the Ravens are going to have Mayfield. They're going to have Burrow coming in his rookie season, and they're going to have a very interception-prone Big Ben coming back off of injury. So with that said, at this point, I would say that the Ravens would be a better pick to take right there. And you see right here is where your top defenses are going off the board. It's round 12, okay? Go down here, and we can take Buckner, okay? With KC, you know they're going to score a ton of points. Now, if those guys are gone, I do recommend that Zane Gonzalez be a target for you. He is the kicker with the Cardinals. You know that the Cardinals, their defense sucks. They're going to be in high-scoring games. They're going to have to be throwing the ball around, and they're going to have to be getting in the field goal range, possibly to even win the game, okay? So with that said, let's go ahead. Now, the Hayden Hurst pick, said before they brought Hayden Hurst into Atlanta from Baltimore, he was behind Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews just got all the glory. He just had a rapport with Lamar Jackson. And Hayden Hurst is going to have to build that rapport with Matt Ryan. I know Matt Ryan likes to do things with his tight end, but Hayden Hurst is more of a blocker than a catcher. He can give you the production, but I'm going to take Noah Fant going into a second year with Drew Lock in Denver. I like that combination more than I do the Hayden Hurst. Hunter Henry, I like Hunter Henry. I wish him the best, but the injuries just scare me off too much. So with that said, let's look at who we have up here. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's look at the draft board real quick, see where we're at. Okay, so this is our last pick. And we've got good running backs. We got phenomenal receivers across the board. And we got those guys after we went running back, and pick up quarterback, okay? Picked up the quarterback. We've got even our backups, even the guys that we're taking shots on, okay? AJ Green, his upside can be huge. Jarvis Landry outperformed Odell last year. Even if Baker Mayfield does not finish the year, okay, he's the backup that they brought in, Case Keenum, he's game manager, okay? He's going to be feeding Jarvis Landry all day long. Emmanuel Sanders, perfect decoy and compliment. He's basically the Calvin Ridley of the Saints. Michael Thomas is the Julio Jones. Justin Jefferson sliding into the Stephon Diggs role. I love it. And then, you know, the defense and the kicker, I don't think you could ask for better. So that said, let's go up here and let's take a swing and see who's up here. I don't see anybody that I would want to take a shot at for running back. At wide receiver, you can take a shot at these guys. Let's go up here and see who we have left. Now, this is interesting because I like what's going on right here. Last pick of the draft, nobody's banking on him, just like nobody banked on Lamar Jackson last year. And again, as I said in the beginning, we wind up with a D, but Brian, look at that lineup, okay? We didn't go on the experts' recommendations. That's why we have a D. But look at that lineup, top to bottom, and tell me that you're not going to have a hard time figuring out which guy to start because they're just so good. So, Brian, I appreciate the love, appreciate the request. I hope this helps you out, and let me know how the draft goes. Guys, remember, down the bottom, subscribe, like, share, and we will see you next time, maybe doing your requested draft here on Fantasy Football Academy 2020. I've been the Dean. Y'all remember, mask up, take care of each other, and we'll see you next time.